Okay, so it's like coquito, but like for Eastern European with cherries.
Yeah, exactly. Hello and welcome to My Tiny Bottles, the project where I'm exploring my grandmother's legacy of miniature liquor bottles, one tiny bottle at a time. I am back at One Tippling Place in Philadelphia with Tony Jimenez. Thank you, Tony.
Hi, thank you for having me back. Hi, everybody.
So when I asked you from the list of bottles what you wanted to taste, you told me weird things were good, but you also mentioned this bottle specifically.
Yes, I'm a big fan of cherries, like cherry liqueurs, cherry bitters, cherry cocktails, cherry desserts.
And I'm going to intersect to say the bottle is Polmos, Polish cherry Wisniak. So go on.
So I was like, if you have anything cherry, I'm down to try it. And turns out the label is also beautiful, and I'm excited to find out about it.
Right, you hadn't seen it yet.
No, I have not. Like,
as soon as I brought it in, you were like, "Oh, that's a beautiful label."
I would frame that. It looks nice. It's a beautiful artwork, and it draws you in, especially with the contrast of the dark liquor.
Yeah, white rearing horse. Pretty impressive. So this is an example. So it's Wisniak, which is a style, and when I Googled it to start researching it, you just come up with dozens of recipes. Because what this is it's something that I've since discovered I think exists in any place of the world that grows cherries. So you take cherries in the summer when they're in season, put them in some kind of alcohol with sugar, and then let it sit. And usually the instructions will say open at Christmas or Thanksgiving if you're in North America. Or if you're in Eastern Europe, it'll say, if you're an Eastern European Jew, it'll say open at the high holidays, which are in September, right? So the idea is to put this away, let it sit for at least 3 months, and then open it up at a time you want to celebrate and bring back those flavors of the season.
So it's like a holiday thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like coquito, but like for Eastern European with cherries.
Yeah, exactly. I guess no cherries growing in Puerto Rico.
Not a lot in the tropical. No.
But coquito, is that a big deal in your family?
Yeah, all over the island. It's just big. We make it. I did have a cherry flavored coquito once, which was it was pretty tasty.
It's like the perfect mashup.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we are tasting this between Christmas and New Year's. This episode won't air for, I think, a couple of months. But I thought this was a good, festive occasion to taste what is considered to be a festive product.
Perfect.
So the other things people will tell you about Wisniak is that it lasts forever. And this bottle, I can tell from the tax strip, which is like falling off, is from between 1983 and 1985. So if forever includes 40 years, then this could be really good.
I'm excited to find out.
You have high hopes?
I have high hopes, especially considering you mentioned the company's still in existence. So
well, it's a little weird. So the label, this exact label with the rearing white horse, is still around. But it's so Polmos, which is the brand name of this one, was the Polish liquor monopoly under communism. And so in 1989, they split it up and they parceled this off to a bunch of other companies. So you got the vodka and you got the Wisniak and you got the schnapps or whatever, right? And so the company that got this is called Stosky, and they're the ones who make the one with the white label now.
Huh.
So they got the recipe, they got the rights to the label and all that. So that's my understanding. If you know more about Polish liquor history, tell me all about it. Okay. So we going in?
Let's go.
All right. You want to do the pouring this time?
Of course. Oh, it's so pretty.
Oh, no.
What's going on?
Oh, no. It's another one of those bottles. Getting the tops off turns out to be the hardest part of this. All right, I'm going to give you a go. We might have to get tools. I think it's so fun to actually open them live on camera, but every time something goes wrong. Did you do it? He did it. The professional here. That's what happens when you invite a professional on.
It's the only reason I was brought in, just to open the bottle.
Absolutely. Well, it is red and syrupy. I chose punch cups from your amazing collection of vintage random glassware. I chose punch cups because I thought it felt festive for the season.
Well, cherry and punch always goes well. Ooh,
So it's, what do you got?
not a lot on the nose right now.
I get kind of like caramely, raisiny, fruity. I would not say cherry. Reminds me a lot of the mead that I tasted, the Polish mead that I had a bunch of episodes ago now.
But I get that. It smells, oddly enough, a little bit of honey in there.
Now that's interesting. Might be sweetened with honey. Also, I think just these, like, it is 40 years old, right? So
Yeah.
it's going to have some oxidation, some caramelization. I tasted the mead with somebody who talked about cordialization as something that happens with mead, which is like that it introduces these kinds of oxidized flavors. And
Ugh.
smells old, right? Like that's what it smells like to me. It's like if you buy a bottle of liqueur and you have it in your liquor cabinet, and how many recipes call for apricot liqueur. And so 15 years later, you pull it out and you're like,
it smells.
It doesn't really smell quite right. That's what this reminds me of. But maybe it will taste better.
Let's find out.
Let's find out. Yeah. Definitely cherry on the palate.
I like that.
Yeah, you look happy.
I like that. It reminds me a little bit of sherry herring.
Yeah. Totally.
But less with a less sugar content.
Okay.
Like less syrupy, even though it is syrupy.
Yeah, it's definitely syrupy. Yeah, cherry herring's a really good call on that.
Yeah, I'm getting cherry initially, like a little bit of the sour cherry, and then it goes into a sweet cherry in the end.
Yep. Yeah, that's, I guess, surprise to me is how bright it is. Given how much it just smelled kind of like
old and
caramely.
Yeah.
Like that first sip is really bright cherry.
Yeah. And it's very bright, especially for like the darkness and the viscosity that you see in the glass.
Right. I mean, it's brown. Right. It looks kind of like balsamic vinegar.
A little bit.
It almost has some of that same acid level as a balsamic vinegar, right? If it was like a cherry balsamic.
Yeah, you could cut this with...
It's not vinegary yellow, but it has that
You could just cut this with white wine vinegar, and then immediately you got some cherry balsamic in a way.
Yeah. Honestly, that's actually really good.
You said that they said that this would last forever, so...
Just that every recipe you find for cherry bounce, that's what it's called when you make it in the U.S., Wisniak there, right? And so, like, every recipe for that just says keeps forever. But, like, I don't think they have 40 years in mind.
Well, it works.
It worked. So what would you do with this? Would you, like, drink it straight? Would you mix with it? Would you think about using it in that cherry herring context?
So I might not use it in a cherry herring context, but I might use it as just like a modifier for something that I already like, and just adding just like that one extra level. So maybe taking a 1/4 ounce off of vermouth in a Manhattan and throwing that in there.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing 1/2 ounce in a mint julep.
Oh, I like that idea.
Like I can go either way with it. It's more of like you find the right base and like it'll go really well. Like I think a rye would go really well with the spices.
Absolutely.
Like just do like a spice cherry drink right there. Yeah, it's very interesting to see how something so old can stand up so well.
And I think that's like the sugar to a certain extent, and maybe the acid. And yeah, I don't know.
And the glass bottle.
The glass bottle. It's 40 proof, so it's only 20% ABV.
Yeah.
But glass bottles help a lot. And this one had like a little paper, so it didn't have a lot of evaporation. That's great. Well, Tony, you get to play around with this as much as you like, because the way this works is that I always give my tasters the bottles, because the reason that I started this project is I did not want to own 300 to 400 miniature bottles, but I do want to taste them all. So now you get to own that one.
Thank you so much.
drink it on its own, mix it into things. Just tell me all.
Yeah, this will be gone before the year ends, and I will make sure to enjoy it with fellow geeky friends.
Excellent. That's what it's all about. Well, if you want to taste a bottle, hit me up at mytinybottles.com or on any of my social media at mytinybottles. And if they want to find you, Tony, and maybe find out what you did with this, where do they look for that?
Yeah, I'm at Instagram at Tony Holds Camera. Any questions about cocktails or spirits, if I don't know, I'm sure I have a very talented friend who does, and I'll lead you to the information.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hosting me, for tasting. Salud.
Salud.